The 13th Valley, penned by former combat correspondent and war novelist John M. Del Vecchio in 1982, stands as a work of historical fiction. Departing from a linear narrative, the novel takes on an episodic structure that gradually introduces the compelling characters of Cellini, Egan, and Brooks, three highly skilled soldiers renowned for their prowess in combat. While each character initially grapples with the immediate realities of war, they also harbor doubts regarding the fundamental necessity of engaging in such a conflict. As these men set foot in Vietnam, their paths converge as they find themselves assigned to the same unit. It is after their first harrowing battle that Cellini becomes apprehensive about Egan's proficiency and seemingly detached emotional state, as he efficiently eliminates enemy combatants. Through conversations, Cellini discovers that Egan hails from a military lineage that has instilled within him a peculiar affection for war itself. To Egan, war is akin to any other vocation, an essential means of warding off despair, finding moments of fulfillment, and experiencing fleeting instances of satisfaction and joy amidst the tumultuous chaos of life. In due course, Cellini finds himself adopting Egan's perspective on war. The turning point comes during a battle where an intense surge of adrenaline evokes an almost transcendent experience for Cellini, leaving him unscathed. Ironically, Egan, who previously embraced war's allure, begins to yearn for an escape from Vietnam and a return to the so-called real world. Meanwhile, Cellini's appetite for conflict grows, gradually eroding his previous education and moral framework, giving way to madness and transforming him into a merciless assassin. Among the survivors of the arduous trials within the 13th Valley is Min, a Vietnamese individual who, defying his own nationality, becomes part of a special Marine program known as the Kit Carson Scouts. Min's decision to align with the United States in a risky wager for victory breaks him away from his own cultural roots. Min possesses invaluable insight that the American soldiers lack, providing them with a unique perspective. Yet, he grapples with a complex mix of emotions and an ambivalent attitude toward war, as his integration with American forces proves to be a challenging and delicate process. The American soldiers harbor resentment towards Min, and he reciprocates their animosity, albeit for different reasons. Having witnessed the destruction of his own culture, Min's resentment fuels his support for the American troops throughout each battle. Driven by his fears of the Northern Vietnamese Army, the Viet Cong, and even his own supposed allies. Despite his profound insights, Min's fractured identity prevents him from attaining a complete sense of self or finding satisfaction. Instead, he becomes a ghost-like figure, mirroring the Vietnamese people he left behind, adrift in an enduring state of uncertainty and fragmentation. As the novel reaches its conclusion, a glimmer of hope shines through the suffering endured by its characters. An intimate episode unfolds, where Cellini grapples with profound psychological trauma upon learning that his friends Egan, Brooks, and Doc Johnson have been left behind on a hill in the Ky Ta Leo Valley, abandoned by retreating troops. Thomaston, Cellini's new commander, had compelled him to board an evacuation helicopter, despite the presence of his wounded comrades on the ground. Overwhelmed by the news, Cellini finds himself echoing the common phrase uttered among American troops, "Don't mean nothin'." Yet, before he can finish, Thomaston interrupts him. Cellini, now positioned as a ruthless assassin, contemplates his commander's urging to discard the nihilistic expression. This encounter carries an ambiguous undertone, suggesting the potential for meaning to emerge in the aftermath of war, or alternatively, the perpetuation of the war machine, by suppressing any acknowledgement of its inherent futility. Penned a decade after the conclusion of the American involvement in Vietnam, the 13th Ballad transcends mere extension or recapitulation of a well-known narrative of suffering. It delves into a fresh exploration of the soldiers' universal quest for meaning, recognizing their status as pawns manipulated by abstract and disconnected political entities. Del Vecchio's work thus serves as a contemplation on the very construction of war narratives, inviting introspection into the intricate layers and complexities of storytelling surrounding conflicts.